this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments, and I am bringing to you another video in our Back to School series, my Back to School series. And as promised, we're going to assemble my pages for 6th grade. So what I have out here are just kind of looks like a hodgepodge of items, but basically what I have is I have 2 Fast to Fabulous pages, and these pages happen to have lined paper already on them as if you had opened a notebook. You can see kind of the spiral binding in the front or in the center. That is printed on these pages. That's why they call them Fast to Fab, and because you really don't need to add too much to it to finish your page. So let me show you how I'm going to do this and do it very quickly. I'm going to use a page from our annual pack, the one that says 6th grade, and I'm going to grab my trimmer and I'm just going to cut the 6th grade portion off at the bottom. And you're probably going to say, well, why are you doing that? I'm doing that because I already have lines on this page, which are already on the top part of this paper. And if I do that, I can flip it over and use the other side to embellish another page, or this page opposite, or more on this same page, you know. So I can do a whole lot of things if I just trim off this bottom portion. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to add this portion to the layout, and probably down here at the bottom, and we'll just glue it right on in there. Okay, and again, I have now this paper that has these cute pencils on it that I can use in another portion of this layout. I have a portion of designer paper from this collection that has these cute red apples on it, and just some plain lined paper on the back. I don't really need it for journaling, especially on these 2 pages, because I already have lines that I can use for journaling on. So I'm going to take this page, or this paper that I have, and go ahead and cut it in half. This is a 4 by 12 piece, so I'm going to cut it at 2 inches and make 2 2-inch strips, and that way I can use it on both pages of this layout. So we're going to use both of those. I also have this strip of border stickers that come with this collection of these cute little people, like paper dolls. Remember those from when you were a kid? So we're going to use that to go across each of these strips. So let me just go ahead and show you a little bit more about how that's going to come together. So let me move this over just a little bit. I'm going to grab my permanent adhesive. We're going to set this 6th grade page on. I'm going to glue it in, adhere it, whatever verbiage you like. So just like so. And whenever I'm putting a page against the top or the bottom, I try to make sure that it's flush with the center and then flush with the top or bottom edge. That way, if it doesn't quite make it to the outer edge, it's not quite as noticeable, and it's not a big deal. Okay, so because occasionally there is enough variance in paper products in general that occasionally you get issues with papers being just a tiny bit shorter than 12 inches, or you know, that kind of thing. So all right, so I'm going to take each of these stickers of the paper dolls, all holding hands, which are super cute, and I'm going to not just put them down the middle, although that is a way to do it, certainly. I'm going to go ahead and try and put them about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom edge. I just need to make sure that this one's hand is reaching the edge, and it's kind of hard to see. So bear with me here just a second. All right, so as we get started there, there's one guy down, a few more, and a few more. There we go. All right, so we're going to put the other sticker at the same level. As we did this one. So, that one still has, several of them still have their triangles. Bear with me a second. Let me get rid of that because we don't want that to adhere to our page. Okay, let's get that in the trash. There we go. All right, so now we're going to just go ahead and take this cute sticker and adhere it about the same distance from the bottom of our strip all the way down. Just do a little at a time because this particular one is a little bendy where the arms come together. So if you're not careful, it can go wonky on you. All right. So one of these is for the left page, one is for the right page. So we'll go ahead and adhere the left page since that's the one we're mainly working on at the moment. And this strip goes across the top. So just like so. All right, now my class photo is going to go on this page, and I could, in the grades that you've already seen in the other video, I have not mounted my class photos. Most of the time I don't. This time, however, I'm thinking I probably ought to do that. So let's get some blue cardstock. Okay, so here's the blue cardstock, and we will go ahead and just mount this photo on here because I think it will kind of add some color to the page since we're kind of accenting it with blue. And I'm just going to make it about 1/4 of an inch, give or take. This picture is not cut square, so the border is going to be a little wonky in places, but that's okay. I could cut the picture or I could not, and I'm choosing to not because, as you can see, I've written fairly close to the margins because I wanted to make sure everyone's name was noted. So as a result of that, I don't have much I can trim to square up the part that's wonky down here, so it's all good. I'll just put this in here like this, and you see, adding just adding a border really classes up the joint, so we're good to go, I think. I am tempted many times when I'm putting all of these rectangular and squarish things in here to take a moment and put them in a little bit sideways or wonky. And sometimes I think variation is a good thing, so we may end up doing that a little bit here and there. All right, so moving on, because there's not a lot more we can do with that page except for possibly some embellishing when we get that far. We're going to jump over here to this side of the page, and let's just go ahead and put our border across the top so it matches the left-hand side, and then we'll see where we need to go from there. My teacher in 6th grade, for some reason I have a very vivid memory of him. He was very Italian. He wore lots of gold chains and liked to keep his shirt unbuttoned quite a ways down, which was kind of odd to me because my father never dressed that way. And anyway, just kind of interesting. He was an interesting guy. All right, so I'm going to use the yellow that I have, excuse me, that I cut from this page over here, and I'm going to use it to mat my photos that are going to go on this page. And in this case, we made solar system models. This was my model of the solar system that I made, and here is another one, and I can't remember why we had two, unless I was making mine at the same time that my friend was making hers. I can't remember which one is which. So I'm just going to put both of them in here. And I have a picture of my teacher from class and a picture of my sister and I from that same grade. So I'm just going to go ahead and add these pictures to my paper, which isn't always the traditional way of matting photos. So I understand if you look at me like I'm crazy for doing it this way, but this is just kind of the way that I always used to mat my photos, was just by getting my paper out and sticking them on here and then cutting them apart and trying to master the art of having double the distance in between so I can just cut them in between and that kind of thing. You can see on the back of these photos, I just want to mention for a minute, you can see where these photos were a part of a magnetic album, because these stripes that are on the back here are the glue that is still stuck to the photo from those magnetic album pages. And you can see where, to get the photo out, it got torn a little bit on the back, but you can't see that on the front, so that's fortunate. When I was young, the thing to do was to put your pictures in a photo album, and we didn't know that the acid from the adhesive was going to cause so many difficulties and cause pictures to degrade and all kinds of horrible things to our memories. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and sort of mass cut these. So that they are all nicely matted and good to go. I understand it is often easier to take your photo and know that it's a 4x6, so you make your mat a certain size so that it's even all the way around and makes it super simple. But these older photos, if you are doing a memory book from old photos that were done many moons ago, these are not 4x6 photos, you'll notice, and these are the original printed photos. These photos are 4 3/8 by 3.5, and that's the way they were printed. So we just do the best we can with what we've got, right? And so these I'm going to kind of offset just a little bit, just to add some variety to my page. And I'm going to, I think, put them like this so that I can add a journal box. And what I've got here is a portion of a mat. So this was a portion of a mat that we trimmed that I trimmed for another page. And here we have a cute little notebook. So I think what I'll do is just trim around this cute little notebook so that I don't have that wood grain, because it's in the original mat it was a slightly ajar and offset, but it's hard to, you wouldn't know that without me telling you. It just looks wonky now, so I'm just going to trim it and make it straight. All right. And then that can go right in here. Actually, though, as I'm thinking about it now, looking at this, I have pages on my page, or lines on my page, so I really don't need to add something else with lines to journal about this page. So maybe I'll just save that for another day. But I am going to add these cute little stars, just because they are similar colors to what we are working on this page. I think they'll make a cute addition. And I think I'm just going to call it good with that. There aren't a lot, you don't always have to embellish a ton on your page. And there is, sufficient eye-grabbing things to kind of move your eye around the page. It might be better, if I had more embellishments, but I don't have a ton of embellishments, so I may come back later after I've done more pages and add a few more embellishments to this particular 2-page layout. We'll see what happens. It's hard to know when you're just starting or relatively halfway through if you're going to have what you need for the rest. So sometimes I wait and embellish later when I've done all my pages, if they're all from on the same theme. Sorry about this. My nails are wreaking havoc on me today again, so all-purpose tool to the rescue. All right. Just offsetting that slightly, and we'll use our repositionable adhesive to get this guy down. And I need a new cartridge for that one. That's okay. We'll get this guy on here, and then I'm going to add some foam squares to this one so he's popped up a bit. Just like that. All right, so now we are ready to go on to the second 2-page layout that I need to do for 6th grade. All right, so the second 2-page layout we're going to do for 6th grade actually includes a bunch of photos of preparing for a field trip. This wasn't just any old field trip, though. This was a major field trip. We were going to camp. Our district in California sent all of the 6th graders to what was known as 6th grade camp, and we were gone for a full week. We left Monday morning and came back Friday afternoon. And so it was loads of fun, but really the only photos I have are of us all sitting around and then standing in line and then finally on the bus. So these are the photos that are going to represent 6th grade camp for me. And I'm going to put them on these 2 Fast to Fabulous pages, which you'll notice have the same Apple printed papers as we just did on the flip side. So it kind of is a nice cohesive touch to indicate that these are the same grade. I'm going to go ahead and just sort of lay these pictures on here and kind of get a feel for what photos we've got. So I've got 7 pictures, and they are all kind of a bit on the haphazard side. So this is going to be one of those pages where all the pictures are just kind of a little bit wonky. And there are smaller photos as well, so there's really no need to, you know, cram stuff together, although whenever you are creating a layout, your eye appreciates it when you have things that make connections. So that's why when we talk about embellishment clusters and things like that, there is a reason and a design law sort of that talks about how your eye travels from one page to another. And so as it does that, you want to have your pages or your pictures in arranged in a way that is going to be pleasing and make your eye want to follow them. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do here, is just sort of make these photos into a grouping that's going to be pleasing to my eye, or to the person's eye who's looking at these photos. All right, so I'm also going to create some clusters. I have a cute little thought-provoking journal box here that I may or may not leave the little thought bubble down here on. And we've got some stickers up here that I thought would be cute to use. We're going to make a signpost, which I think I'm going to put over here on this page, since this page doesn't really have a lot of elements. I'll just scoot these over just a smidge. And this is just an idea of where I want them to go anyway. And then I think we'll put the signpost right here. I'm going to use this little bit of blue that I have, and I'm going to use several of these cute little signs: friends, field trip, bus stop, and homework. And we'll proceed from there. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about matting anything, I don't think, although I might mat just one photo. We could use this and mat just one photo maybe on this page, since we've got so much yellow on this page. Let's do this one right here. This was of me and my best friend at the time. Her name is Vicky, and we'll mat this one so we have a little more yellow on this page. And since we have so much of this particular printed paper, we'll just give it a really nice, generous mat. And then we'll get these here down. Fast2Fab pages really do go together quickly, so there is not a lot to say or to do. It's mostly just adhering your photos. So you decide whether you want to mat them or not. You decide how you want them to go on your paper or on your page, and then you get after it. Okay. This, my mom noted on the back of this picture, this was Mr. Humphreys. He was our school principal for, I don't know how many years, a very long time. And he was very tall, large individual, and he always wore a suit. I remember. course, as a school administrator, I think you'd expect him to wear a suit. I don't know if they would expect it anymore these days, but this was back in 1970 something. 70, what year was this? Oh, I beg your pardon, 1981. Whew. Sometimes, I tell ya, sometimes I feel old, which my daughter would think was funny. All right, give me 1 second here while I reload my repositionable adhesive, which always seems to run out when I'm least expecting it. Okay, there we go. We're going to do our little signpost right over here. That's just a strip of paper, and then we're going to add some foam squares to our cute signs. We're gonna put bus stop at the top because definitely this was a bus stop situation. Then we're going to do field trip and friends. And I may just do 3 because there is kind of that rule of 3, you know, that things look better to the eye when they are odd numbers. So instead of doing 4, I think 3 would probably be better. And then I need to be mindful when I put my second page together. I need to leave some room for a title so that I can make sure that it says in bold letters that this was 6th grade camp. And I don't just rely on that little bubble of journaling. Okay, so there's our little signpost. Let's get these pictures. Oh, that's kind of crazy. What happened to my permanent? Oh, if it was a snake, it would have bit me. That's what my dad would say if he were here. It blended into the page and I just didn't see it at all. Okay, so we're gonna lay these out just a little bit different so that I have some space to put a title, and I think I'm going to put that title kind of down here because I haven't done that for anything in this album yet. So we're gonna have our pictures on the bus. Actually, this one I might, let's see if I can get that to pop back up. I need to move that down just a smidge and maybe over a bit. There we go. Make better use of my page. And I am going to just snip off these little bubbles down here, because the bubbles kind of indicate that you're going to be like conversational, and that's not what I'm going to use this bubble for, so I don't really want those to be on there. I just want to have this be kind of a brief explanation of what we did and what I still remember from it. And I feel like we need something else up there in that space. Maybe we'll use, oh, the places you'll go and Teachers Rock, because they totally do, right? So we're just going to kind of put those together with our thought bubble and then pop it up on some foam squares. It takes so much longer when we have to use all these little bitty tiny foam squares, but I have completed all of my using all of my large ones, and I need to use these small ones, so that's what I'm using. No point in opening a new package of foam squares just because I want to use the bigger ones. These will work. Okay, we are just about done. I will print my title before I do the walkthrough of the final version of this album. I'm gonna move this journal box over just a smidge so that we can kind of incorporate all of this together up here like that. All right, so there we go. There'll be a title down here so that everybody knows that it's 6th grade camp, and some documentation, some journaling, which is also really important. I hope that you have enjoyed sharing this time with me and watching how we put together these these 4 pages, the two-page layouts. Now that I look at this definitely needs something additional, so I will do some more embellishing and take some pictures of these before I post the video so you can see. But at any rate, I will be coming back to you with the 7th and 8th grade assembly video in the next few days. So if you'll watch for that, then you can get some more ideas. Thanks so much for joining me today. And until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Take care.